So, welcome to the Coaching Collective. We are a group of coaches who want to inform you as to what we provide and what we avoid. Some of the topics in which we're going to be discussing today are as life coaches, what is the difference between talk therapy and coaching? What do we determine as who we can assist and why we can assist them? Topics in which we find challenging today for not only ourselves, but our clients, and then also lessons we have gained from difficult experiences. So to start off, we're going to do an intro for each one of us. We're going to speak about our title as coaches, our name, and then our location. Chris, do you want to start off today?
Thank you, Caitlin. Sure, certainly. So my name is Chris, and I am in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada, and I am a procrastination coach. I'll tell you what that means tomorrow.
And Anna.
Hi, my name is Anna Colito. I'm from Anima Coaching and I'm from Montreal and I am a consciousness and mindset transformational coach.
All right. I think I'll pick up after Anna. Hey guys, I'm Mridula and I am from sunny Florida. I'm a life and resilience coach and I'm sure you're wondering what that means. Well, it's coming.
My name is Caitlin. I'm a personal development coach and I focus on building wealth and wellness for young people. I am located in Vancouver. So, to start off our conversation today, let's define what life coaching is. I think a lot of people have a misconception of what do life coaches actually do. They just sit and talk to people. What is the actual benefits there? So, what do you guys think life coaching really is?
Well, life coaching is a partner. We partner up with you on your journey, and we are not there to give you advice, answers, point you in any specific direction. We're there to help guide you to you. That's my take on it. If someone would like to continue it.
No, I love that. I love that you use the word partnership, Anna, because that I believe is such an apt description for life coaching. We really are a partner in somebody else's journey, and we are no experts in anybody's life. But what we can do is be there, show up, and meet the person where they are today and whole as they are, and just see where they want to go and partner them in that process. So that is kind of my take on what life coaching is.
And we have the tools to do that as well.
Yeah, exactly.
You're in a safe space. We are certified. We've gone to school for this, and we can help guide you to where you need to be or want to be.
And I think that's the difference between friends and family. People speak to their loved ones, to the people in their circle or the community, and they're not professionals. They're not people who even may know where you really are at in life at that point in time. They remember the old you, or they remember the things that you told them you want to be. So sometimes speaking to somebody who doesn't have that biased opinion or that information can be really useful.
Absolutely.
Just to sort of sum up on that, I mean, I totally agree with what you all said. I kind of think of it like, you are navigating, I don't know, maybe a foggy lake or, foggy ocean, whatever you want to call it. And we act as sort of like a lighthouse to help you kind of cut through that.
And as well, life coaching believes that everyone is whole, complete, and resourceful. The answers are all within you. That is why it differs from therapies or from mentoring or from consulting. I'll just say versus mentoring, a mentor will tell you what to do, will give you advice, will tell you what to stop doing, how to do it in order to reach your goal. Whereas a life coach will not tell you. A life coach will help guide you to understand yourself, what your capability is, what you didn't know your capabilities are, and then we move forward with goals. So that's how it differs from mentoring.
Thank you, Anna. You brought the difference between life coaching and mentoring. And it's so critical to understand what these differences are, right? We have therapy, we have mentoring, we have counseling. How does all these differ from life coaching? And what you started with was so apt. Therapy, counseling, it's all about healing, right? They bring in, it's healing from inside out. And what is addressed are medical situations and more. The therapists are trained to diagnose, what is wrong and how to treat it. And of course, when you talk about mentors, we talk about experts who have already reached where they need to reach and they guide people with their experience. Whereas what does life coaching does? What does it do is just simply partner with you, finding what you really want and help you take those steps the way you want to take it. So it's not about healing, it's not about mentoring, but it's about moving forward with a particular goal that you come up with, and we help you take those steps forward.
And I think some people believe they have to choose one. And in the reality of the situation, you can use a combination. There
Absolutely.
can be a certain time where you need medical assistance and you need a diagnosis, medication, and treatment. And then there can be times where you really need to adjust your lifestyle and you may need support and guidance in doing so and someone to keep you accountable because now you have that power back, that ability to be able to do what you want to do. You just don't know how. And a lot of times we don't. You don't know how life is going to pan out. But at the same time, having somebody there to say, good job, you're doing what you need to do can be very helpful. And it may sound like a little thing, but it's really instrumental to a lot of people's success.
Yeah. And being in that safe space in coaching is healing, can be healing because you are in a place where you are safe to say and be who you are and talk about everything. And sometimes you will talk about the past, but coaching is about the present and you can heal even in the present. So, what's the biggest struggle you believe people face today? What are you guys seeing and struggles that you're coaching?
Some of my clients, one of the common themes that I find as a coach is overwhelm. I find a lot of my clients deal with so many situations at the same time. They're working professionals, they are mothers, fathers, they're studying, and they could be also caretakers. And sometimes I find people juggling all these roles and they still struggle to prioritize themselves. And in today's world, it's such a battle to deal with so many things, which almost everybody gets thrown at. So I think overwhelm is a big word that I would use when it comes to my clientele. And what I help them get over is finding the space to take care of them and prioritize and move past that overwhelm so they develop the resilience, they dig into their own resilience, and they're able to move forward, finding joy, actually, finding joy, not just staying in that battle, ground, but moving forward and still being, able to do what they need to do, but also taking care of themselves and moving forward from it.
I think a lot of people also struggle with doubt and fear. I think that is what also causes a lot of stress. And that can be really debilitating for people. We talk about fight or flight, and then there's also freeze, where people really don't do anything. And they may feel stuck because they say, well, I'm getting up every day and I'm going to work and I'm exercising and I'm doing all these things right. But they're doing the same things and that's producing the same results. And they want different results. So I think a lot of times working on that confidence that you can do it and then following through and not looking at the end goal as that is where I need to be. Seeing the steps that you're taking and the progress in which you're making is really a huge accomplishment. And we talk about baby steps. The baby steps add up. And a lot of times people don't think about that because they want that car or their home or that relationship. But if you met that person, if you have enough money for a down payment, if you have gone to see these homes and you can realistically afford it in a couple of years, that's a huge step because you're getting closer and closer to your desired outcome, to your lifestyle that you're going to live. So even changing that wording can be important. I want this, or I'm going to have this. It's going to happen. So I think a lot of people struggle with the fear and the doubt that creeps in for all of us.
Totally. Totally.
Yeah, good point. Very true. My clients, I'm seeing a lot of issues with very confident people feeling confident. The feeling of being confident is totally different than portraying that you are confident. And
Mm.
also, I found a lot of it has to do with reacting when I'm coaching some of my clients and we're noticing it's really the reaction they had to something that's going on around them. They feel like something's wrong. What's going on around me? I have to figure this out. When really, most of the time, it's the reaction they're having to what is going on around them. And yeah, to understand why, we work on to understand why you reacted in that way and what happened. How did you feel? And then we'll bring it into confidence. But absolutely.
Yeah. How about you, Chris?
Well, no, I'm listening to what you're saying, and it's all of the above. But for me, really, what it's about is so many of us, and it goes back to fear. It goes back to resilience. It goes back to finding your path and what you really want. It goes back to clarity. It goes back to everything. I find that, well, at least in my case, with many of the clients that I work with, it's distraction and addictions because everybody is so inundated. And that comes with the overwhelm, like Mridula said. We're overwhelmed, but I mean, we're distracted. I mean, our phones are going off every 30 seconds. Somebody posted an update. There's an article, there's some news, something happened over here. Look over here, buy this thing. Oh no, buy this thing. We're just so divided in our attention that how could you not be, inundated with analysis paralysis or, overwhelm?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, so many distractions, so many things. How can we not be overwhelmed? How can we not have the fear or not have all these things are part of just so many things going on today, right? How do you juggle them? How do you take a step back, look at yourself, and then move forward? So there's a way, there's a method, and that's what we're hoping to bring in as coaches. I'd like to follow up this with actually a question. Maybe each of us share what really brought us to this aspect of life coaching, you know?
Well, I'll go. Why I became a life coach with a focus on consciousness and transformational mindset was that one day I was opening up my emails and I've gotten an email that said, "Do you want to be a life coach?" And those words, I didn't even know there was such a thing, to be a life coach. I was like, what is that? And then at the same moment, it resonated with me so deeply and everything kept flooding in like, yeah, this is stuff you've been doing with your family, with yourself, with friends. You've been watching it done in some good programming on TV. And I just fell in love with the modality and I signed up and got certified and love the aspect of being able to help someone realize themselves. It doesn't come from us. Whatever's happening in that session really comes from within that person, and it's just an amazing, amazing modality. So, how about you, Caitlin?
I can relate to that. I felt like I was already coaching people. I was assisting a lot of younger people that I was working with. And being in an industry for so many years, there was a lot of people who would come and go because they found it exciting at the beginning and then they wanted to move on to something that was more of a consistent, regular 9 to 5. They may have been in school at the time. And I remember hearing a lot of times, Caitlin, I learned so much from you, not just in terms of how to do the job, but life. And it was because I struggled so much independently. I learned how to be my own coach. I would read books, I would listen to podcasts, I would watch YouTube videos about self improvement all the time. And I think it became an obsession in a good way. A lot of times we think being obsessed with something is bad, but for me, this was a positive distraction from what was really happening in my life that some people could say, well, this is it. I'm just going to have to deal with this negativity. And I thought, I don't have to. Maybe right now I have to deal with it, but in the future I can have better. And that's why I assist young people in realizing that. I say it's planting the seed. It may not happen right now, but know that there's a better life than what is around you currently, whether it be in your household, in your community, whatever it may be. I don't think that we imagine things just to suppress them and to avoid them. I think the reason we imagine them is to make them happen. There's dreams for a reason. There's these visions in which we have for some kind of purpose. And so for me, I think it's fun. I'm passionate about it. There's a reward there of being able to see people change and also being the person that I needed for my younger self. I can't go back and tell that little kid, you're going to be okay one day. But I can tell children, young people, young adults, that you're going to be okay one day and help them to actually get to that point.
And I bet you would have wished you could have had a life coach back then.
Definitely, because I didn't even know what it was. I had therapists, I had counselors, and a lot of times they're really looking at you as, how do I diagnose this person? What's wrong with this person? And that was a big difference. And when I found my first life coach, is it's what's right with you.
Right.
What are you doing well? And that is a big change.
That is huge. Just that last line you said, what is right with you? Recognizing we already have so much and learning to just tap into our own strengths. We don't need to look outside. We have it all. But having that life coach help us find it, and tap into it. That was so beautiful, Caitlin. Yeah.
And for you, Chris,
Well, I've always been coaching people since I can remember, whenever I've entered a workplace or I've been in a company, whether I've been, at the ground level or I've been, up to the C-suite. I've always been coaching people, and I really focused on procrastination because, and I won't go into it on this show, but there are three very specific parts to that. There's kind of a funny one, there's kind of a scandalous one, and there's kind of a sad one. Nutshell is that procrastination kind of worked for me until it didn't. And so I understand how it can seem like it's okay to do and how it can, move you forward. But in the long run, it just winds up, getting you down a slippery slope pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. To hop on that, what brought me to life coaching? Don't know. I guess coaching really as a life coach, it's not really a new identity for me. And just like all of you, I too have been coaching for the longest time. It's just who I've always been. I've been the listener, I've been a guide, done storytelling. I like to write, but they're all human stories. And the stories are my own experiences. I have truly been through fire and held space for others to heal, people close to me. So, in that learning, in that experience, just to bring it all together to someone with the tools, with the learning that we go through and share our life experiences, I think brings a new facet to what empathy is and to what listening is. And, bringing in particular tools that people can use, to move forward. And these are all, I think, to me, brings me so much joy because just like everybody else, I wish I had had a coach when I needed. And I understand the value of having coaching today because with this kind of overwhelm and fear that we spoke about, so many people are dealing with. Just having someone on your side of the fence saying, hey, I got you. Let's move forward together. And making people realize they are not alone. They do not have to do this alone. Reaching out and saying, hey, I need help is probably the bravest thing one person can do for themselves. And it just brings enormous delight to be part of that growth in somebody's life.
Absolutely. If today I can say, if you're looking into life coaching, you are actually performing an act of love on yourself and for yourself. Okay. So, and what do you think you've discovered from hard times that you've gone through that helped you in coaching? Chris?
I would say that having been in a dark place myself, the thing that I really picked up is that we're social beings, we're social community, we're social animals. Basically, we need to have that connection with other people because we aren't disconnected. We are connected. I think really what I learned was that you don't have to be strong and carry it on your own. It's okay to have somebody help you. It's not a sign of weakness. It's actually now it's a sign of strength to go and be able to say, okay, I need some help with this.
Yeah,
How about
most
you?
certainly. It's okay to need help and it's important to reach out for that help. Yeah, so well said.
So, what have you discovered from your hard times, Mridula, that helped
Eh,
you coaching?
Yeah, well, I just mentioned I have held space for people. And to elaborate on that, I have been a caretaker for most of my life. Caregiver, not caretaker, caregiver. For the longest time, it started very early on and continued into my motherhood. As a daughter, as a mother, I brought in a lot of experience as someone who's been caregiving. And it had been intense at times. And through all that caregiving, I had to deal with a lot of other trauma, personal trauma. And towards the end, I found I have come out of it. And I'm so proud of myself, truly. But I took a long time. And that is something I want to bring particularly to caregivers and where they realize where they can also understand as much as they can still continue being caregivers, they'll never stop being that, but they can focus on themselves too and grow in the process, and they don't have to do it alone because every situation is different. And people talk about resilience, being strong, coming out of everything. Yes, that's beautiful. And that's what we all want to do. But sometimes that's not possible. Sometimes we have to sit in that pain, sit in that challenge, understand why we're going through it, and then take baby steps, like you earlier said, Caitlin. It's the baby steps, little steps to move forward, understanding, taking a little step, understanding, feeling it, and then moving forward. We don't ever want to stay in a particular place, but we want to keep moving forward. And how we do it is very personal to each of us. And I've experienced it for many, many, many years. And that's where I want to make a change and tell somebody, hey, I got you. I'm going to walk with you this path and you're not alone again, you know?
So,
I
for
like
me,
that. Sorry, go ahead, Anna.
go ahead, Caitlin. Sorry.
I was gonna say for some of my life experiences when I was younger, my family really wanted me to go in a certain direction in life. And I never felt like that was right for me. So their kind of control was very much what they thought was best. And when I saw how they were living, I thought, I don't even think that's best for you. I don't think you're doing things right. And a lot of people would tell me, your family's amazing and they're so great. And you never know what's happening behind closed doors. You just don't know who people really are. And even when you live with them, you don't know what's going on in their head. You don't know what they're doing all the time. So, in my experience, I saw a lot of examples of who I don't want to be and how I don't want my life to play out. I don't want to be an unhappy marriage, but because I got married, I think I have to stay. I don't want to have children who have to deal with that because I feel like I made a commitment once upon a time and I just have to stay committed. I don't want to pretend like I'm a religious person and I'm holy and I'm godly, but yet there's a lot of things that I do that wouldn't be identified with that. And that was an experience that was very hard for me because I became very quiet. I didn't speak to people about my thoughts because I knew they were going to be turned down and I was going to be criticized for being open minded and for being intelligent as a child. So when I went to high school, I really started to express myself a lot more. And I found that I was around people who felt the same way. And that can be nice in terms of a feeling, but it doesn't really help you in life. Because when you're around other people that are suffering, it's that saying, misery loves company. It's nice because you have company, but we all started doing drugs and going to parties and drinking and doing all the things that really just make it more comfortable to be in hardship instead of going through it, feeling it, processing it, and getting out of it. So for me, I think a long time, just as was said before, we spend in this kind of hardship, and we could have gotten out of it sooner if we had somebody who believed in us, somebody who assisted us, supported us, guided us in the direction we wanted to go, not the direction they wanted us to go. So for me, the biggest gain was I can do it because I figured out, okay, I could do this little thing. I can get a job. I can have a career that I really like. I can be in a relationship and get out if it's not working. There's a lot of things I can do because I don't want that life that other people said I had to live.
So going through all that, living through all that makes you an expert in your coaching to be able to help young people who might be experiencing some parts of that. And you're
Yeah, I don't think we have to have gone through the same experience because a lot of times it's the emotional response that is the similarity. It's not the factors of, well, this is what happened to me and this is what happened to me and it's totally different. But we responded in the same way. That is what we really assist people going through is those thought patterns that keep coming up, those rituals and habits that keep us stuck, keep us thinking, I can't get better. I am not worthy of it. And Anna, you mentioned it's an act of love. And then Chris, you mentioned it's an act of strength. These are all positive things. You can be strong, you can love yourself, and you can display that through getting assistance. Absolutely.
Another word that pops up very strongly when you're describing this act of love and the thoughts that come in is authenticity, right? There's so many things people do. You're trying to live up to somebody's expectations. You're trying to do something and you want to, there's always these thoughts. Then some are negative, some are, assumed of what is necessary for them to do to survive in this world or what. This is so many thoughts, right? But what you are bringing is helping them tap into their authentic self, saying, who are you? What do you need to move forward the way you want to, not because of what your parents are expecting you to or somebody else is asking you to do? What do you want? And you don't have to go the path that's destructive, but here, I know helping them move forward in the most positive way. And I love the way you explained that. Wow, thank you. So many powerful stories.
What I have discovered from my hard times, which I use in my coaching, is that whenever something ever happened to me or I had to deal with and it was difficult or I didn't find the answers right away, I would go within and not to run, not to hide, but to within me, I would find answers and I would be quiet for a while to actually what I've come to understand today is I was coaching myself and asking myself why I feel like this. What can I do? How come I'm feeling such a way? And so the going within in the hard times actually became something really positive for me. And I use it in my coaching. And that's why my focus is always on consciousness and being conscious of what our thoughts are and how they got there. So I kind of feel like all our struggles or whatever we've gone through, which was a negative in the past, became a strong positive in our future and today. And we're applying that to our coaching careers. So thanks for sharing.
You know, it makes me think of Superman, and I don't know the Superman story so much, to be honest. So we're just going to use the analogy in this one little aspect. Superman always had like his outfit underneath his clothes. And he wore that suit so that he could be presented as like a certain person. He wore his glasses so he can fit in. And a lot of times we do things to fit in, but he had those powers right underneath his clothing. And all he had to do is show it. And then all of a sudden people knew it. And what I think this is in relation to coaching is we already have that. Like
Mhm.
we've already said, we already have everything we need. And all we have to do is take some time, look within, and maybe get some assistance and realize that it's already there. It's not about becoming someone, it's really about realizing who you already are, but just living that in an authentic manner. So when we think about what's our superpower, that's why we coach, is because we knew before we got certified as coaches. We're good listeners. We're able to help people. We have life experiences that contribute to relating, having real empathy, sympathy for people in situations we were once in. It's so nice to know that it's not just us that has a superpower. Everybody has it, but what is it?
Yeah.
I love that. I have to just say, I used to be so much in love with Christopher Reeves as Superman. You probably were too young, Caitlin, but I used to love that man. Every time he walks on, screen and just ta-da, and I would be so excited. But what a beautiful analogy. We all have that superpower. Every single one of us, you have what it takes. All we do is we're going to bring it to life for you. We're just going to help you tap into it and just bloom because that's your superpower that we are going to bring out. I love that.
Yeah, I love that too, and we're grateful. I'm lucky. I mean, we're all lucky for our life experiences, but we are trained. We are trained, and we have the tools, the capabilities to also, not only what, let's say, I can pull from my life to help someone. Well, what if I didn't go through that? But I have the tools to help them, just like any of us do.
You know, I'd like to flip that on its head too, Caitlin, and just go back to, how being strong, because there are many of us here that try to keep up the image of Superman or Superwoman, but we do come across our kryptonite. We do. And sometimes it helps to have somebody that can, flick that away so that you can, pull up your uniform and fly off again.
Yeah. And if
Absolutely.
you're curious, if we had one word for kryptonite, what would each of us come up with?
I would say comfort.
Yeah, Caitlin hit it right on the head. I used a different word. I used escapism, but I mean, escapism is essentially.
Hmm.
My kryptonite is fear of the unknown, just fear of fear itself. It's just an irrational fear. That's my
Wow.
kryptonite.
That's a good question, Mridula. What's my kryptonite? Yeah, maybe the unknown. The unknown would be my kryptonite.
Yeah.
I would I want to be conscious all the time, so maybe not knowing would be my kryptonite. Yeah.
I think that wraps everything up very well. Everything we've discussed has kind of come back to we have something that is really powerful. We see that in everybody, and we're not trying to act like we're perfect. We're not trying to be Superman. We're not trying to be some superhero, but we know that we can relate to other people because we have something powerful. The ability to listen to people, to help people through tough times, not because we're just certified coaches. That's a part of it. That helps us to provide the techniques, the guidance, the support, in addition to the experiences. Because you want somebody you can talk to who we're not always going to say, I can relate to that because that's not, we're not here to tell you our stories all the time. Sometimes we'll tell you those things, but we're here to listen mostly. So I think a lot of people, if you do resonate with any of this, you should reach out because we're not here to just be your coaches. We're here to also connect with people and we might be able to help you find the right assistance. It may not be us, it may be somebody else, but we are all part of a really great community of people who help others heal. And that is something you may not even realize you need. You may think, I'm fine. I'm going through life. I'm getting everything done. But do you find that you're burning out? Do you find that there's times where you're sitting there and you just start crying and you don't know why? It doesn't mean that you have to have those moments, continue and be alone. You can be strong, you can love yourself, and you can ask for help, and it is okay. And if it doesn't work, that's okay as well, because there are other forms of assistance, whether it be mentorship, counseling, therapy, that you can also go to, and we can help provide those resources as well. Because a lot of us have those connections of people who we can say, you know what, I don't think that this is right for you. We're not trying to tell people that we're medical professionals. We're not here to diagnose you. So I think next month is when our other episode comes up. If anybody wants to reach out in the meantime, please feel free to do so. And we're happy to connect as the coaching collective.
Yay. And just before that, before we end, I would like to jump in and ask our audience, if you're listening and if you're watching, and if you want to tap into your superpower, and you find that there is a kryptonite stone in front of you, reach out and tell us what is the name that you would give to your kryptonite. Share with us. We hope you enjoyed the show. And Caitlin, thank you for rounding it up so beautifully.
And if you have any questions that you want to ask the coaching collective, please send us some. We'd be very happy to answer those for you.